gets struck by lightning, and everybody loses their mind.
Let's just say my head is going through this Joker arc at the moment.
Oh,
Yeah.
so are we going to? Is it like Joker 2 or?
I hope it's the musical. I like Lady Gaga.
Oh no.
I just gotta be me.
Yeah, welcome to session 14. I hope everybody's ready and prepared, because I have a simple question to ask. The same one I ask every single fucking week sometimes. Is everybody ready to begin?
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, let's see. Please, by all that is holy, give me the proper soundtrack. Please, 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 please. Like,
Please, Joker
I'm
soundtrack.
sorry. I'm serious.
the Joker
I
soundtrack.
cannot do that.
Please work. There you go. So, also, who's buzzing? Who's very loud? I think it's Bluster. Bluster.
Not kidding.
It's my fan that's currently on.
Anyway, so
It's just the way he talks.
like how I talk. Anyway, last we left off. Well, you all woke up. Realized that the dragon was still drunk. He catapulted himself off the wall by trying to fly. Fell to the ground. The ground became tainted with the void. The taint spread across the land, and Blister got reminded by a very old, millennium-old warning about the fall of the Roman Empire if the Golden Plains suddenly took a different color. Besides that, you have a courier provided for you, who arrived in Nihilim's behest and provided with all of you the information you would need to find the leading expert in the Empire when it comes to beetles and their species. Aradia for Copperham. With basically everything, like a small description of her history, and well, the courier just left. You talked with Red about whatever the void might mean, and well, he didn't give you much of an answer. So was surprised that the Grunkla may provide a quicker solution for fighting Fetch, and technically also Mahet hasn't been present. Nobody has seen him ever since he kind of ran up to the estate without any supervision, and of course that aftermath on the very top is kind of foreboding wherever he would have gone. And as you, my good people, try to partake to figure out where Mahet has gone, maybe he passed away somewhere in the grass or in the bush, maybe he's somewhere locked in a closet, drunk out of his mind. However, before you prepare your search of the estate at full swing, one of the servants runs up to you, Nihilim, saying, lady, I found this by your door to your personal chambers. And you see it's a very plain piece of paper folded, and it says on one side, to Nihilum and friends. Which reads, come on, Mahet. What does it read?
On the first, you see like a crudely drawn image of Mahet chasing a beetle of some type. Mahet will be back shortly. Finding something.
Oh God.
Go on without. We'll find.
All right.
At least that's what you're pretty sure. It says some letters don't seem quite lettery.
Literally.
They're scribbles.
They're
Some
illegible.
scribbles, some hard lines. You're pretty sure you use like 3 different writing utensils. You don't remember him having any writing utensils now that you think about it, but
But then again, we saw him make grenades out of nothing.
Exactly.
I don't think he is limited by such trivial things as writing utensils.
you never know. My one weakness: writing utensils.
My one weakness. Ticonderoga number 2 pencils.
Oh God.
All of it probably written in like different shades of crayon. It's like, all right. She kind of like
I'm
shows it.
ate all the rest.
She kind of like shows it around the group. I don't know how much this answers, but I think he's alive.
At the very least, we have that.
Oh, what do we do now?
We focus on the task ahead. What else?
Well, he did say he would find us, so I say we continue on. As per our original plan.
All right. I hope he does find us or something. Where would he even know where to go? Ah, doesn't matter. Is everybody packed up? Then I suppose we could already go, right?
There isn't much we can do here anyway.
Nilum takes offense to that.
Well, too bad.
Neil
He's
will
so.
remember that.
Are we forgetting something? Lester, you got anything to say?
I mean, weren't we going to like get the Platinum Seas involved?
Oh, right. We still need to contact them.
I'm sure that we can do it on our way.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. If no one needs anything, any more, I don't know, food or drinks, something take on the way, then I assume we should go. Better sooner than later.
Indeed.
Oh. Taking the boy dragon, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
We got fast transportation, so we might as well use it.
Fair enough. Oh. Gonna ask for a bit of confirmation from Nihilum. Nihilum.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you have the full name. You know, you have the whole description and everything, even a high quality painting. I see you will use that to basically tell your old dragon to take you to this person.
Mhm.
Okay. Oh. In that case. In a bit of a clearing of the gardens. All of you sit on the dragon once more. And then, without any warning of like we're going or anything, the dragon sinks into the ground with all of you as well. And then the familiar purplish mist around you again as you travel for about 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 seconds. Second. Oh. As suddenly, from a very pleasant golden plains, darkness, purplish mist, and then suddenly the blinding light of dawn. Is your eyes correct? You all flying about several hundred feet off the ground on the Void Dragon. Around you is not a desert per se. It is it's massive, large, boundless mountain ranges, scaled ground from intense heat, and the pale, blinding sun above. Alias, you feel at home. This is very familiar, this whole surrounding place. It kind of feels like home. As you look below, can everybody roll me a perception check?
Was D20 plus perception double checking. Yep. Okay, it was 3.
Damn. Starting off weak.
I'm starting off really good. Sorry about that.
So, Grimclaw, you're basically in some sort of valley. Plenty of valleys, as you can see from your perspective. Lands surrounded by mountains. Barely any life. No trees, no nothing, just barely any fauna. But you do spot semblance of life in one of the shadows of the obscured in the valley by mountains. There is a small fire going on. You see a handful of people walking. Some pacing, some sitting by the fire. And you can see that your dragon is going that way. And after a good few seconds, as you slowly descend towards them, you can also see somebody in the camp took notice of you. As they're now, you don't hear them, but you can see people shouting, pointing, and they're all scattering behind rocks. Crossbows, and probably bows drawn. But from the distance you spotted them, it's kind of not clear to see. Would you tell anyone that what you saw, as your dragon is literally just making a beeline towards essentially that encampment?
Well, I guess I should. They have spotted us. When we will land, they will attack us instantly. We should proceed with caution. I do not think an encounter is a good idea in this case. This is everyone, by the way. Even the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
So the dragon knows they will get shot if they land.
All right.
Hmm.
The dragon hesitates in its flight and just kind of stops mid descent, equals itself out, and now just levitates. Clearly, the dragon doesn't want to get shot. So it's now just flying. Not forward, not backward, just kind of hovering, waiting
Hmm.
for a command or a response or a.
Okay, I'm guessing nobody has anything to say. Hmm.
Oh, and we're sure this is
Just
where we
thinking.
need to land, right?
Mhm.
This is our destination that we stopped going to just now.
Yes.
Yeah, because if we go land with the dragon, they'll get shot, and nobody's in the mood to get shot right now.
Well, then let's just land here and walk.
I was thinking something else.
What were you thinking?
Lester,
Hmm.
do you know? Did you maybe choose one of us to fly down to greet them, so that the rest can land safely?
I mean, I could, but who would want to go down there and convince them that we mean no harm?
I would volunteer, but even I know my visage is not very promising at first sight.
Hmm. I don't know how well they would react to a noble, but I would try if nobody else would. But she
Grimcloak?
kind of looks at Kalis.
Grimcloak,
Go ahead.
still playing off that high perception check. You look back at the campment. You can see suddenly, uh, now that you fully see, you see what seems to be orcs. Few of them, maybe half orcs, maybe just orcs, with crossbows, and you see one dwarf um, behind cover, waiting, and you see the dwarf runs with with a metal bucket or something and pours liquid on the fire and just extinguishes and runs back behind cover.
They're still frightened, and there appears to be two orc-like people ready to fight. I recommend someone who doesn't raise alarm for combat, but I leave it up to you, Blester. Yes, I'm giving it all to you, Blester.
I know. I'm thinking. You gotta be patient with me.
Sorry.
Out, Elam, do you mind going down there?
Comes gives you a worried look. Uh,
Do you want to?
she looks around the group. I suppose I could. I'm not very proficient in talking with creatures like these, but I can try.
All right.
All right.
We'll set your I'll set. Give you a fly. If anything comes, actually, you know what? You two point at Callius and uh Grimcloak's like you two stay. Me and the both of us will go. Make it a bit easier.
Grimcloak nods.
So then I'll upcast fly so that we can both fly down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So who's going?
Blessa and me are flying down.
Okay. Oh. It is about a quarter mile away from your location. Between the camp and, of course, your flying boy dragon. And yeah, with flight you do descend. Slowly but surely. Just straight on the camp or outskirts? What's the call?
Just on the outskirts.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh. Takes a few seconds. Well, not seconds. It takes a few minutes, and eventually you land. The whole place is a lot more colder relative to the valley that is covered in the sun. You can hear sizzling of embers, and you can see two half orcs, about 6.5, 7 feet tall, wielding crossbows, lowered to the ground, observing the void dragon, oblivious that you just kind of landed nearby, and you see a dwarf that looks relatively dressed, like relatively well dressed, and he has a small eyeglass caption, a spyglass specifically, and occasionally he does peek through the cover that he has to just observe the void dragon. I want to ask you, will you say anything, or you just try to sneak up, or what is the play? Because this is the dwarf in question. He is
Oh, he looks friendly.
Do I recognize him, perchance?
History check.
Can I also do history
Yes.
check? Yay.
I can't see the
Oh,
difference.
hold on.
Yeah, it's a quarter mile away. Everything is kind of a blur, even with 20/20 sight.
Nah, I'm
Like,
gonna choose
What
to
the?
reroll
That's my
that
second
one.
5.
I'm gonna reroll. There. No, what? Fuck.
What? Interesting. You can add
No.
a D8 to that.
A D8 then.
Not much. Jesus Christ, what the hell?
I don't.
I don't get it either.
Nihilum with a 17. You don't recall him at all. Although something about his clothing does remind you of just like middle Doran Empire's nobility. Something about his clothing. And maybe the fact that it's kind of, well, clearly the orcs are covering themselves from the gaze of the dragon just to save their skins. The dwarf has that a natural knack for, I guess, observation. He seems to more be curious to observe what he's hiding from than actually hiding from.
Alright. Nilum would turn to Blessa and just kind of whisper, we should probably, like, just tell them that we come in peace? Right?
Of course. He gives a thumbs up. Says, you got this.
Gives him a smile and nods. Just kind of walks towards the group of people and just half shouts, "We mean no harm. We come in peace." Just stands still and kind of expectantly stares at them.
The dwarf still observes through his spyglass onto the void dragon. The other two half-orcs their gaze suddenly shifts from looking from the void dragon to you. They kind of look at you for a second, and one of them shouts, "You better get behind!"
As again, she puts her hands to her mouth and just shouts, "Why?"
I want to see how they're gonna react. Okay. The orcs will look at each other again, looks back at you. The other speaks out a bit louder. "There's a fucking dragon!" Kind of points the fucking crossbow, like almost like a extension of like a stick towards the flying thing a quarter mile away.
And she kind of instinctually looks back once and looks at them again with like a sigh. "Yes, that's mine. We mean no harm. He's not gonna do anything to you."
Can I just... The both of the orcs basically look at you like this. While the dwarf immediately turns his gaze away from the dragon towards you. "Is it yours, you say?" Let me
Well,
check.
it's complicated.
Let me
It's kind
check.
of its own person, but
He looks with curiosity, but then his eyes widens. He composes himself, then looks at the orcs, clearly behind the rocks, but seemingly just gaze through the rocks. "Man, position yourself proper. We have royalty." And then walks just without any fear towards you, Nihilum. "Lady Linnea, a pleasure." Takes a deep bow. Name's Torius Razorback. The associates behind the rocks over there, guarding our little small entourages, Jinnum and Jill, some local folk.
I see. A pleasure to meet you.
He nods politely, then looks at the void dragon in the sky. "That is yours, you say?"
Well, again, yours is kind of complicated. It is its own person, its own dragon.
See.
It's
You never seen this kind of coloration before. Is it like a... seems to think on it for a second. Then he just kind of completely gets enveloped by thought and he starts to think. Eventually... Void looks at you,
Yes.
Bluster. Let me check. He literally like waits a few seconds thinking, milling over what he wants to say, grabs a pipe, puts some tobacco in, and tries to light it. Hears you saying "void," looks back, his eyes widen again, and then he raises both of his hands outwards. "Well, isn't it Bluster?" Just walks up to you and just gives you a hug. Bless you, you don't remember this guy at all, but the way he approaches you like you just fucking know him.
Ah,
Been years.
Yes.
Been years.
Ah, that it has.
How's that, oh. Last I heard you uncovered some, what are they called? Proto-giants? Right?
Ah, yes. That was the last adventure I had before I'm on this current one.
What kind of adventure you have if you have a void dragon, you say? Looks back
Oh,
at
yes.
the dragon. Grimcloak, Helios, you look
Yeah.
you look at the camp and you literally see the dwarf is now between Blester and Nihilum, just kind of having this conversation, and the orcs fucking cowardly just kind of move out of the cover, eyes nailed, glued to the dragon, and try to nonchalantly walk back to the camp, but clearly not. Are you gonna land finally? Because you realize. Because you
It seems
realize.
they've
Yeah.
it seems they've made contact. They seem a bit on edge, though. What do you think, Helios?
I do think that anyone would be on edge if they saw an unknown dragon flying over their location. From what I can see, they are on friendly terms. So, I believe we can land.
Let us land then.
Okay.
Yeah, without any like agreement or anything, the dragons just start to descend towards the ground and towards the other party. Meanwhile, Nihilum, Blester, you all of a sudden see the dragon just fucking like go sharp angle to the ground, and you think he's just gonna impact the ground until like the last 50 feet. It levels out and it just fucking starts flying straight towards you. Now, I need to find this gift. Question. A massive void dragon is literally flying towards you, and is like slow but surely letting like lowering itself towards the ground and doesn't seem to want to stop. Are you gonna step aside, run away, or just gonna
Hmm.
I'd say to
Play
have it
chicken.
pick us back
Play
up if
chicken.
it's going.
Play chicken with the dragon.
I mean, technically, is it actually just flying towards us?
Yes, it is literally gonna. It looks like it's gonna directly impact you. It's like
Oh, we can stay here. It's fine.
We can land.
Watch this.
Just
Watch this.
Don't worry, don't worry. We just replaced the brakes.
Yeah.
so. What's
It's
the call?
still kind of
Thanks.
drunk. I'm not sure if that'll work.
I
What's,
am preparing a
what's
spell,
the
though.
call?
I am preparing a smell, though.
I'm.
Yeah.
Let's see. Can I prepare a spell? I mean, I could just go out of the way, but I wanted to do something funnier.
Yeah. What spells?
Okay, yes. I'm going to make a small illusion that it seems for the dragon that there's a wall right behind us, so it would crash into that if it came closer.
Okay. So, all of you stand your ground, and this is what happens. Give me a second. This is what happens, PoE. You're standing and waiting for the dragon to just arrive.
Yep. Yep.
It fucking goes at a very fast speed, and just 10 feet in front of all of you just fucking stops mid-flight
I
and
didn't
just
even
lands.
see the tank behind him coming until it was too late.
Yeah, I know.
Jesus, it took way too long to figure that out.
It literally, like, it was going like 120 feet per round speed and just stopped like 10 feet in front of, just like with a massive shockwave, and just slams. The dwarf,
Michaelis rolled
unfazed, fascinating. Walks up to the dragon, starts like looking at its scales, touching it like a oh, like a subject. Well, you all have regrouped. The orcs are once again behind cover. The dwarf is mesmerized by the void dragon, and well, you have reunited with each other. Would you like to do?
I just walk up to Cadus and Grimcloak. Don't worry, they're all friendly. They were just a bit worried.
It makes sense. We are flying on a giant dragon.
Interesting. The dwarf just kind of, he's literally like under the dragon, just kind of observing its belly, kneeling down.
Beetle walks up to the dwarf and says, "Oh, one question. Perchance there isn't like a..." She kind of makes a weird hand motions, like a weird little gnome waiting for us here, right?
No, it's me, Janum, Jill, Radia, and what's her name? Up. I think it's that name. No. He stops touching the dragon, looks around, gives a once over, shakes his head, looking back at you.
Double check. No.
All right. Shrugs.
He will show up eventually. He has a habit of it.
Nevertheless, the dwarf seems to be still with many interests in his head. Continues to observe and, well, how do I describe this? Measurements come out. Cloth strings with numbers. Notebooks come out that are being hastily written page by page at the dwarf's hand.
I understand that he is very, very enthusiastic to see a dragon up close.
Can I insight check the dragon if she's too annoyed by him?
Roll me an insight.
Alright. I just wanted to see if the dragon might kill him if he continues this. Okay. 25.
The dragon shows indifference to the dwarf.
Great.
The dwarf, even if it probably with all its strength, probably couldn't do anything to like harm or like annoy with his harms, because it is a dragon.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Okay, good.
Yeah, the dwarf spends minutes writing, scribbling, page after page, and looks at you, Neelam. So how did you come across this interesting curiosity?
She looks around the group, just kind of looking at anyone with a good explanation.
It was given to us by one of our benefactors of this expedition.
Looks curiously. He seems to think on it and then just chuckles himself. Quite an interesting benefactor to give you this.
It has been an interesting journey.
I
That is an
see.
understatement.
If I may ask, what is this journey you're undertaking? If it's no issue for answering it.
The details are a bit under wraps, but we're looking for somebody. Well, a lot of somebodies.
Fair enough.
We have quite a long list of to-dos.
Then he kind of steps off, not off, but just away from the dragon. Well, I mean, we didn't wish to interrupt you in any uh, expeditions or missions or whatever you're on, he kind of wipes his hands off, steps away from the dragon. Nihilum, passive insight. Nobility, directly related to the emperor, and a never seen before thing of a dragon. These are two things in his mind that ring out. You really shouldn't ask questions. He has some brains in his head. Do not be too curious.
Mhm.
Hmm. Hmm.
No, he just kind of awkwardly stands by, looks at all of you. So, I mean, is there anything I can help?
Oh,
Well, one of the somebodies we're looking for right now is actually supposed to, well, be here.
He scratches his head. Who would that be? There's only 5 of us.
Totally forgot the name.
yeah. Grimcloak, what was the name of him again? The
Hmm.
gal?
Do I need to re-say it?
Grim. I thought Grimcloak must be
No, Grimcloak's just right. It's near you. What's up?
Oh no, we're just out of character. The name of the person we're trying to find.
Oh, I have to look for the note. To ask the note taker. Fine,
Yeah.
fine, fine.
Like
We're looking for the Dragonborn woman who is called Radia for Copperham.
That's why I couldn't remember.
That's a big name.
A long name, yeah.
Long
Yeah.
name.
So we're looking for her. Ever heard of that name?
The dwarf just nods. Yes, this is her expedition. He kind of points towards the mountain nearby that is shading the camp and your dragon in this entire conversation. He's there. Well, not on the cliffs. There's a small tunnel system. Um, she and her assistant are down there to grabs another notebook, looks through a handful of pages. Uh, black-headed beetle jock. That's the name. They're writing notes about it. looks for another notebook. Goes. The beetle's adaptation to sunlight and shade. Closes the book.
Alias. Hmm.
All
Well,
right.
I mean, I can lead you to the cavern if you wish. It's not too far. It's 4 or 5 minutes walk, and it's not that deep. It's like 120 feet, but also they should be coming out maybe in half an hour or so. You see, it's he looks at the mountains around. It's something about this particular place, a particular time, early in the morning, being deep in the shade. It's she said, I really don't get it. I'm just an expert of the surrounding terrains. Just came here to assist because, well, one must do their duties and so forth and so forth. But yes, if you wish, you can wait by the fire as he looks back at the fire, which is fully out. Soon to be fire. We'll make some porridge for the morning, and you can wait by the fire, or you, of course, I can lead you to the cave.
Grimclone looks at the rest.
I'd like to go see this cave.
I am
Earth
also
and I.
slightly curious.
Then Grimclone nods.
All right. Think we'll go into the cave and find them there.
Right, right. The man simply nods. And it kind of beckons for you to follow. Then looks back at the dragon. The cave might be a bit too small for the dragon to wander in. And it looks at you, Nihilum. Could I politely ask that it would stay here? Looks back at the dragon with a bit of curiosity.
As kind of, uh, if you're comfortable with her being around,
Oh, certainly. I have no idea. I have no problems against dragon staying in my camp.
Sure thing. She kind of just looks at the dragon. Is like, you fine waiting here?
The dragon looks indifferently at you, stares down, looks around. Then eventually, like a dog, whirls around itself twice and lays on the shade where it landed.
Just nods. Well, there you go. We're off to the cave, I assume.
The dwarf claps his hands together. Excellent! Please follow me. Then, walking by the camp, looking at the two half-orcs. Jill, get the fire going. Two half-orcs, still scared shitless, just kind of nod. The dwarf nods, a smile, and just proceeds to lead you, deeper into the mountain itself, as it is quite a bit of a descent. It's very rocky, and well, not a lot of people have wandered here. It's kind of like a descent into more descents into a crevice. After a few minutes, you basically make to the bottom of these crevices where there are a bunch of naturally formed holes. Some of them you can stick a finger, some of them a fist, and at some of them you can barely fit yourself on your knees. And there are several bigger ones as well. And after a few observations, the dwarf taps the second biggest hole. And with a hushed tone, he kind of refers to all of you. They should be there. They're doing their things there. I really don't know exactly what they're doing. It's kind of a secret, I guess. So, if you wish, you can walk inside, talk. He just kind of shrugs. I mean, I can lead you in, but I mean, the cave is relatively small. You don't need a guide to follow a single path.
I think we have it, unless there's any dangers we should know about.
He shakes his head. No, this place is absolutely. There's nothing here.
Then we should be fine.
He nods. Well, if you allow me, I will go back to the camp and make sure the porridge is going on their way. Quite hungry.
All right.
He steps to a side and just walks back. And you're left at the start of a cave. As the dwarf said, you could wait. Or you could just, go in and just...
Yeah,
Or you
I'm
can...
sorry, but my curiosity will get the better of me, so I'm gonna go in.
I follow.
Yeah.
As will I.
In. Need to... Ooh. Yeah. You wander inside the cave. It is relatively big. And the first few feet in, actually, it becomes extremely cold. Like, it was, like, cool in the shape, but now it's, like, cold. As you breathe out, you can actually see your breath manifest in front of you. The cave is basically a combination of brown and black stone, with some places where there's actual frost on the surface or on the floor or on the ceiling. Question is, would you just like try to figure out like the cave, explore, just gonna try to make it to the end and find potentially the people you seek, or you maybe gonna use stealth? How are you gonna proceed?
Well, I see no reason for stealth, but I don't know what about the rest.
I mean, it's just a very straightforward cave, right?
Yeah, it's very straightforward cave, but looking at the cave surroundings, it's a bit unnatural, right? It's
Oh yeah,
it's the
definitely investigation on that. We're gonna investigate that. If there's anything that catches the eye. So,
Hmm.
do I
Okay.
roll anything?
Yeah, I mean, you roll me investigation.
Okay.
Anybody else wants to do anything, or just make it to the end?
Yeah, 19.
I'm not gonna roll anything, I'm just gonna follow.
Kalis is gonna have his magic awareness up, just looking around, seeing
This is
for
all
anything magical. Just
You do realize that there is small traces of evocation magic where the frost is. And you realize there is like a massive amalgamation of it, and there are trails across the cave. The trail is, you literally can look in and you can assume that it's like small insect creature that leaves just small trails of evocation magic.
so it's like a snail trail, but it leaves evocation magic.
Kinda, yeah.
Interesting. I'll mention it to Blester as we walk.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but besides that, would that gain a bit of insight from Kalias? Yeah, it's like there shouldn't be this ice forming. It's cool, but it's not that cool. Although maybe something to do with this research that the dwarf said that the the copper dragonborn is doing here, trying to figure out is the reason why they're here. It is literally quite unnatural. Eventually, You do make your way to the end of the cave, and it's literally like 20, 30 seconds. And, oh, at the end of the cave, there is not torches, but these rocks that are glowing in dim bluish light. There are 7 of them, and in complete and utter silence, as you didn't hear anything previously at the end of this cave, there are 2 people squatting around a massive snowball. Seems to be moved by a handful of these relatively obsidian-looking beetles. Give me a second. Oh, one of them, you immediately, Nihilum, you realize it is literally as per letter. It is Copper Dragonborn, female, relatively young. Another person besides it is also similar build-looking drow girl, as they seem to both examine the snowball. The drow clearly with a lot of enthusiasm and actual observation, while the Copper and Dragonborn seems to be observing the snowball and the drow and taking vigorous notes of it. And you can see that they speak between each other, but nothing comes out. There's not a single sound that can be heard. How would you approach this?
I'm more of observing that they would, for them to finish what they're doing, but unless somebody's going to interrupt that.
Somebody could interrupt it. Grimcloak approaches.
Just
Give me the timing of that one.
So,
I just remain quiet. I just quietly approach.
actually quietly, just casually step.
Casually, but not in a way of I'm just walking over. I am.
Okay, in that case, roll me a stealth check.
That's great. I'm bad at stealth. This is going to go well. I'm fine with that.
Please add a D8 to that. All right.
11.
Step, step, step. You can hear Grimcloak's steps as he eventually goes silent. Grimcloak. Suddenly, the sound of stepping becomes a bit louder, and the sudden sensation changes from the cave ambience to the two girls having a conversation, and clearly the sensation of what you could describe as a blizzard somewhere within the vision of a snowball like occurring. Do you think the dwarf will give us porridge again? I don't think. I know. They're talking between each other, with you still walking up to them. listen to this conversation.
They're talking about what they're gonna eat tonight.
Not even tonight. It's still morning. It's dawn.
They're gonna eat this morning, and then you're dead. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna do the funny.
Okay.
Mm. I hear he has to feed a dragon.
Uh,
Sorry, that was actually pretty brilliant.
the two,
Yes, it's humor.
From the
the
shadows walking up, I hear that.
the two people turn their heads slowly towards you, Grimcloak. The copper dragonborn looks with confusion. The drow with a bit of hostility versus brow. Her brow. Who the fuck are you?
That is a long tale. I just go by the title Grimcloak. I'm here with a group looking for information about a specific beetle. And he points over his shoulder towards the rest of the group.
Looks back beyond your Grimcloak. Looks.
I wave.
See, there's three other people. They both look at each other. The drow, just with a bit of venom in her voice. I told you to put a alarm system. How was I supposed to know we're gonna be observed? The drow.
We mean,
The drow. Listen, from only Grimville can hear this conversation. Nihilum, Bluster, Kalias, you can see there's a conversation occurring, but there is no sound from your perspective.
It must have it silenced. Good. Don't want anybody there. Don't want anybody listening in on conversations. I'm gonna step forward with saying that.
So then Grimcloak will just say this. Does it interest you more that this beetle example was given us by a godlike entity?
The copper dragonborn just kind of grabs her forehead and just takes a deep breath. A what now?
Indeed, it has been a rough week for myself, but we are looking for a specific type of beetle, and the specimen or example that he given us is from a godlike entity.
I see. Well, the copper dragonborn looks at the drow. Would you mind? The drow nods her head, leaves out. Right. Let's go. And walks by you, Grimcloak, looking you up and down, and then walks by everybody else out of the cave.
I remain stalwart as I let them pass, and when
Oh
they
no,
fully pass me,
the copper dragonborn stays behind.
Oh, it's just the drow. Okay, once the drow goes past me, I just follow them.
Anyone else staying, following the drow? What?
I'm going with the I'm talked with the dragonborn. So we need
Go
to
ahead.
talk to.
So who's following the drow? Who's staying with the copper dragonborn?
I think we're all staying with the dragonborn.
No, I'm following the drow because it was ordered to let the drow take care of it, and we know that the drow's are more expert of the two.
The Copper Dragonborn is the known expert, while the Drow is the actual expert.
Mhm.
Well, then the drow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You leave. You leave to the outside. to enjoy the more warm sensation of the outside. And then, taking like a good 10 feet out of the cave, the drow just sits by basically the most comfortable looking rock in the vicinity and then looks at you, Grimcloak. So, Beetle, eh?
Indeed. And I'm not the one who's carrying the sample, though. That will be my companion. I believe Lester had it.
Yep.
So point to Lester.
This and put this back on.
So
So,
Lester, take it away.
Yep, I'm gonna present the beetle.
the girl takes the beetle in her hands, looks at it, sniffs at it, looks back at you, Bluster. It's mechanical, not even
Yes.
living. Then seems to look at it, listen to it.
More,
Yeah?
we're more trying to find this kind of beetle, if I remember correctly. Unless,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yes, I assume that is the point. She seems to fondle the beetle in her hand, seemingly gripping it, trying almost like every time she like paws it and holds it, she always closes her hands and she seems to think on it for a good handful of seconds before changing position the hands. And then eventually something clicks in her mind as her gaze softens. Ah. Looks back at you, Grimcloak, and places the beetle next to her, just away a bit. You weren't lying, were you? About the thing made by gods or something?
I wish I was, but trust me, that being made by God is the least strangest thing I've seen this week.
See. Well, good for you. I know exactly what you're looking for. It's a weird beetle. We haven't really made it that far yet. Old. He sighs, looks away a bit. I told Radiate to go there as fast as we could. That it would be quite a bit of an adventure. But I mean, it's so far south and off the continent. Ay. Well,
What exactly are we talking about?
It has no official Empire's naming convention because the Empire hasn't discovered it yet. Because it is in a very remote island in the southern eastern part of the world. The only reason why I know of it, or I guess of its origin, is that my ancestors way back when had a belief with these types of beetles. Their shells glistening gold, and they could grant wishes if you hold them in your hands and, well, crush the near uncrushable chitin. She then grabs from her back a backpack and pulls out what seems to be an atlas, maps of regions from region, very well marked and categorized, and seemingly up to date, quite up to date, even like a few months old. And eventually she makes through the maps. And eventually she lands somewhere far of the continent of Dor to the south and to the east. She kind of points at the map. It is a complicated thing. For long ago, the whole continent was one under one rule. Now that is considered coalition territory. Once more, it's also unabandoned territory because it has hordes of wyverns and other flying filth. Just to think on it for a second. If you make it up to the southern shore, which from here would take months on foot, would also from the nearest imperial port would take you weeks to go on boat. Not to mention meeting potential pirates, hostilities from the sea, or heavens forbid, the coalition territories trying to inspect your boat with their cannons.
Well, it's a good thing we will not be going by boat. Though I think our form of transportation might dislike all the wyverns you speak about.
Well, that is the benefit of the wyverns. See, you surface dwellers don't know nothing about the island except that it exists. My kind made pilgrimage, at least the bravest or the stupidest, in order to receive the said wishes. The wyverns are not the problem. What lies beneath the island is what are the problems. The wyverns on the surface are... She seems to think for a word. And then she kind of gives up. They do not eat meat. They do not even scour each other. They have a weird living standard. They live off surrounding oceans. Never attacking their own, never eating their own. Well,
They fish?
probably. I wouldn't know. Although, what lies beneath is the terrifying part. An ancient drow society, made of the best and the greatest of warriors the Underdark has ever known. Zealous barbarians by even our standards. They see the island as their birthright. They see everything on the island as theirs. You go there, the wyverns might not attack, but the drow beneath might sense you. They might come after you, and once they do, they will definitely kill you.
Then there's one more question. How would they respond to one of their own kind arriving?
There is a grim look as she looks back at you with a twisted smile. Well, they would capture me, use me as a breeding cattle until I die. Simple as.
Strange. I would think if one would arrive on a dragon, it would give a different reaction.
Seems to think. Mayhaps, but
By the way-
where one does gets a dragon. It's not like you can
You would-
just blow a whistle and call one like a dog.
You could. She doesn't even need an answer. She can sense Grim Cloak just chuckling under his mask. She knows that the whole "I hate to defeat a dragon" part. He wasn't joking about that. There is a dragon nearby.
Anthony, yes. And then I'm just going to be blunt with this. Good, it's a funny thing you should mention that.
She gives a once-over look to all of you. Her face studies you for a few. Really? Really? Looks at all of you.
Yes. Yes.
He looks back at the maps, thinks that, well, a willing dragon to fly across basically half the world would take, well, I guess it would take weeks. If it's an agile one, if it's a large one.
Grim Cloak adjusts his mask. It will probably take a minute at max.
Blank stare at you, confusion on her face. Minutes.
Minutes.
I have an exceptionally unique dragon under helping us out.
And
She
as I said,
she looked at the sky. She thinks on it. I'll help you find your beetles that you want. I know the way the beetles do. I'll get 2. Then you can have whatever else you want.
Deal.
sounds like a perfect deal to us.
She stands up, looks around, looks back at you, Grimcloak. So, when can you go?
As soon as possible, even right now if we wish to.
And where is this dragon?
Back at your campsite currently. The dwarf is probably examining her.
Prepare to fly out in a moment's notice then before she starts screaming at me, okay? And then the girl runs into the cave and vanishes into the darkness. What are you gonna do?
I'm guessing she's gonna quit her job. I recommend we heed her advice.
It's definitely a good idea. What about the Dragonborn?
Welcome. We have everything we need.
Oh, at least tell them a motion for them to get out there.
Will the Dragonborn want to come along?
What are you doing?
Well, I suggest we just prep the dragon because I think what the drow is gonna do is the fact he's gonna say, "I'm gonna go to this island now with a dragon and to find this beetle from the godlike." They were lying. We're gonna leave with a dragon in a moment. So I'm gonna go now. You figure out the rest, and I'll do my thing. Bye.
Yeah. So what
what
are you
I-
doing? What are you doing?
We're going back outside to the camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You make your way to the camp. The dwarf is making stew. Not stew, porridge. And yeah, he isn't examining your dragon anymore. He kind of just waves at you. Come, the porridge is almost ready. Just use a minute or two. And as you get to the dragon, you all see from the path you came, the drow head just fucking pops up and higher as she just like full sprints towards all of you.
I believe that is our cue to prep for departure.
Oh!
So Grimgog is going to go to the dragon and just get on and just inform Ishtar of what's going to happen and who's going to lead the way for now.
Okay.
I don't know what the rest will do because
Yeah. What is the rest of you doing? Come on.
Kalis is going through his stuff. He'll take out the locket and look into both of the ones he's able to open so far, starting with the red head. The red locket.
Yeah. Asleep. You can see the lower body is covered in sand, and the sun has not even risen up yet. It's barely a few glimmers of sunlight in the desert. Same, and with the blue head, it is literally a very nice, opulent room that is pitch dark, as both people are still asleep. It is early morning. Very early morning, yes.
Alright. Other than that, Kalos is just kind of doing an inventory of his own stuff.
Everything should be in place.
I'm just kind of doing something similar, just looking through her stuff. Looking at the photo, aside from that, just checking if she forgot anything, but aside from that, just that's it.
There's a second of genuine fear from the drow as she sees the dragon. She just pauses mid-run. Takes a deep breath as you all take on its back and also takes on its back. And the dragon instinctually takes its way southeast. And as you take to the skies and start flying, looking below, you can see the copper and dragonborn running out of the cave as well, looking up into the sky. So, suddenly, it transitions as per usual into a familiar glows of purple and blue. The drow inspects everything with curiosity as the entire world around turned void. Kinda just asks, what is this?
Grimgog just looks at her. You'll get used to it.
Okay. You nod.
If you must know what kind, void.
She nods. Although in your mind you can imagine that that doesn't register as any significance. Whew. Well, few moments pass. Well, actually, not a few moments. 3 minutes pass flying in this. Oh, let me say. I need to find out another soundtrack real quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wait, my bad.
That's not the bot, it's yourself.
Yeah, my bad. Okay. So, takes you 3 or something minutes, and then a familiar. Well, as you go out of this void, you enter pitch and utter darkness. You look around, you can hear the sea, you can smell the salt. You look above and you see a clear sky full of stars. You look below, there's water, and you look in front, and there is a very fastly upcoming land, massive land in utter darkness. The best way I can describe this place is mountainous and dry. As you fly into the actual landmass, you can see dozens or even hundreds of things skitter at the bottom. And you do realize the drow was not lying. You can see creatures, wyverns, and other smaller creatures you assume are cousins or maybe just smaller wyverns, either sleeping, wandering on the ground, or just idling. The dragon is just flying into the island. And as in the previous location, there are valleys, maybe few hundred square feet surrounded by mountains, and another few hundred feet surrounded by mountains. And eventually you come across a bigger valley, one punctured with massive holes in the ground, 40-50 feet wide. At the very center, however, you see a half-rotten, half-bone, just showing bone, a large worm laying dead, about 100 feet of its own length on the surface. Nothing more but a basin of maggots. And you see a lot of these wyverns are in this valley, are around this worm, feasting on the carcass.
Interesting.
The dragon lifts itself up a bit from everyone else, from the land, from 200 feet to about 400 feet, and just starts kind of idling as well, now among the massive holes in the ground. The drow gives a few look-arounds and starts to clutch her nose as you all start to feel the smell of, well, rot. Fucking reeks.
Raxus, how recent was this worm killed? Can I discern that somehow?
You can roll me nature check with its advantage, because you
With
basically observe. Yeah.
With disadvantage?
Yes, unless anybody wants to assist and get straight roll.
Not exactly my forte, but I can try.
What are they rolling again?
Nature.
Nature?
Nature as to how long the giant worm has been dead.
Can I use a survival check instead?
Nope, nature.
You can assist me, or I can
Grimcloak-
assist you. Go ahead.
Grimcloak is. Yeah, I was gonna say Grimcloak.
You can have another
is-
D8 if you want to.
I'll take it. So, Bless, are you assisting me?
Sure.
Okay. Then D20 plus, yeah, normal, and plus a D8. What the? That doesn't make
You forgot a
Did you
D20.
roll?
You just roll a
Yeah.
D20.
Yeah, I thought so. I was like, wait, what? Plus D8. Wow, I could not roll worse. Well, I
No.
can, but
Barely.
Mm, no, go ahead and re-roll that.
I can only reroll the D20 if I'm correct.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Well,
17 is
okay.
better.
Okay, 17.
Thank you, Blaster.
You look at the body. It's massive. It is long and it's big. You have no clue how the worm, what kind of worm, how dense it is, what its properties, how well can it be bent on decay. But you could give at least 2 weeks that it's been decaying. Most of the surface, you don't know what's below or how much it's left, but what's on the surface, you would say 2/3 around is decayed, and there is an actual skeletal, skeleton beneath all that flesh and muscle of the rotting worm.
Okay. Thank you. Writing that down, and that's gonna be useful for when I want to do shenanigans.
The drow just inspects. Clearly. Can everybody roll me an insight check? I'll be right back.
Insiding. Oh. Insiding.
I think I've only rolled 5 today. Like, the only rolls I've had have been 5. How is that possible?
It is interesting.
My
You
insight
guys should
sucks.
switch dice, Nihilum.
Maybe. Like, what's the thing for the other dice, Roller?
Just-
slash roll.
No, it's exclamation mark.
Well, no,
Put
that's the one that
dice
are-
in dice Jill. It's not really though. Don't type that. It's a joke.
No, now I'm curious if it does anything. No, of course it doesn't.
Oh, I just want to see if... Okay, it can roll differently, okay.
It
I
can
was
roll
just
differently.
curious.
It can roll
Interesting.
differently. Stares
It
at the
rolled
one.
worse.
I rolled like 4 times a day. All of them have been 5. Like,
Yeah.
the D20 has always been
Rough.
5. How is
Yeah,
that possible?
you need these dice hate you today. Change dice.
But you
Well-
don't know the biggest fu.
Just tell the bot you're changing dice. It'll work. Trust me.
Well, here's the thing. All of you can smell the decay. It is just simple rot. It's potent, it's pungent. But it's not that bad, seeing as you're very high up relatively from the carcass. However, however, the drow seems to take it extra bad stench. You can see, besides the sudden urge to vomit, there's also this underlying layer of meaning the stench to the drow, as the drow then looks at you, Grimcloak, and just says, relatively pleading actually, can we fly somewhere else? The worm will give us nothing.
Naturally, but we need to get to our destination. He looks around, looks for a place where it's less stinky, so to say.
The drow looks around. Well, this should be the place. So anywhere on this island should be the beetles you seek.
Is there a place further ahead where we can land?
Well, I mean, you can fly around and see if there's anything noteworthy to see, or maybe to actually land.
Definitely.
I may be playing a certain class, that doesn't mean I want to sit in the stench of it.
Alright.
Roll me a d10, one of you. Is it gonna fly around this island and see if you can find something of interest?
A necromancer who can't stand the stench of death.
He specializes in the skeletons, not the zombies.
Listen, bones are way cleaner than zombies.
Exactly.
Skeletons are just cleaner.
Yeah.
Easier to clean up after, too.
So, one of you, d10.
I'll go ahead and roll it.
Yeah. I didn't want to.
Oh,
Oh.
well, this is gonna be a bit nostalgic for some of you. You fly around the island. You realize it's not like big. It's several miles long. It's massive by all means. It's an island, but it's not exactly much to look for. And yeah, you seeing that it's still night in this because you are so far east. Actually no. Yeah, because you're so far. It's still. It's darkness. It's shadows upon shadows, and below it's basically wyverns. No actual place to land, first of all, unless you want to risk, or I guess gamble with the advice of the drow that all of these creatures below are just friendly vegetarians. So you keep looking and looking until either you find something or the sunlight will give you some more perspective, figuring out where you can land or do business. Until you come across something extremely unusual. Making your way back across, circling, kind of going towards the worm's body again, but not directly, but kind of circling around that valley. You come across a massive crater area, which, I mean, it looks, by all means, it looked pretty normal for a moment, until the center of the crater starts to shine brightly in this bluish light. As you can see, in the center of the crater, not an explosion, not a meteor, or just, nothingness. It is a marble construct that has been broken and shattered into hundreds and thousands of pieces and been scattered across the crater. But every once in a while, all of the pieces just start to shine.
You can.
And one thing that you notice about this place, not a single, in this crater, not a single creature, not a single wyvern, nothing This entire place is desolate of life.
Hmm. Hmm. Feels like that's our destination, but should we dive there? Thinking. Is there any... So it's just the crater. It's just inside the crater, right? Is there... What's on the edge of the crater?
Edge of the crater, basically, so much. Kind of like this, honestly. Yeah, this is like it's like it's rocky. It looks like a massive explosion, just kind of from the center, just moved a bunch of stone and ground, and kind of.
What seems to be the cause of the impact at the center? What's there?
It seems to be some sort of marble, or used to be a marble structure. You can see marble stone, this bluish marble stone. The blister kind of reminds you of the Platinum Seas marble that they use.
Oh, lovely.
And it just occasionally glows in the darkness, this dim blue light before extinguishing itself.
I think we should land at the edge of the crater.
Agreed.
Probably the best.
All right, so
You land at the crater, or
we
the edge
land
of the
at
crater.
edge
Yes,
of the
yeah, yeah.
crater.
And you don't really feel anything else. You can literally look back beyond the crater and you can see the wyverns either asleep, either wandering in the night, or doing nothing. But they don't seem to care that you have landed, or don't make any interest of showing themselves to your presence.
Magic awareness. What kind of stuff is going on around here?
Every single school of magic resonates in this entire area. It's like a massive kiln of all the schools resonating from the ground. And when when the stones brighten up, it almost looks like the entire place, a kiln, starts to um get some actual air in and starts to burst into a massive magical flame. The flame does not hurt you. You're basically on top of it. Or it's not even a flame, it's just how it looks with the magic awareness.
Then I'm gonna ask our drow companion. Do you think these ruins might have to do with your wish-granting beetles, by any chance?
She scratches her head. Nothing I ever seen before, honestly. This doesn't
I'm
really
gonna
look
go up to
natural.
it. I'm going to go towards the center of the crater.
Okay. Yeah, you do make your way towards the center, slowly but surely.
Does the magic get stronger near the middle of the crater?
Seemingly the magic is more intense towards wherever there are marble pieces on the ground. And because the center has most of it, that is the biggest concentration of this.
So this marble is basically infused with all kinds of magic.
Yes.
Interesting. You said it was like a structure, or?
It looks like a marble structure, or used to be, because where the center is, you assume it's mainly the marble flooring that remained, and nothing else.
So nothing inside? Kalis is gonna search it pretty thoroughly.
Roll me an investigation check.
That's rough, buddy.
So, you, well, it's merely marble structure. There once was a full solid floor, at least, of marble, which is kind of weird. It's about like 20 by 20 feet, and apparently there was just one singular marble slab as the floor. Additional with a 9. Eventually, do you find around the center a lot of dirt in the ground that is kind of seems to have slightly been moved. And when you kind of look at it, you can see that there is, or used to be, a pathway that led down.
So, like, there's basically a former entrance in the floor of the building?
Yeah,
Deeper?
yes.
Dusting away some of the dirt, does there seem to be, like... Is it just like a hastily covered up trapdoor or something similar?
No, more like it's been, whatever the pathway was, it was covered by the explosion.
Ah.
Yeah.
That was the source of the explosion. Neat.
Interesting. Well, nothing else I can gain from this, as far as I can tell. So, like, Kalis will just pick up a piece of marble and kind of twiddle it in his hands to occupy himself as he walks back up to the rest of the group. It seems there was some kind of entrance where the marble structure had landed.
Hmm.
Other than that, this marble seems to be infused with quite the assortment of magic. And I'm just curious, I want to see what happens if I, like, use it like a flint and a flint and steel. What happens if I, like, strike it with my axe?
Give me a second. I want to roll this. You know, this would be like the best pride item. You hit it with a bit of flint, and the sparks spark in every possible color, including black. Some of them extinguish naturally after, it hitting the ground. Some of them take a good few seconds to just cease to exist.
Very interesting.
To be honest, I was expecting it to do something a bit more volatile. But I think this is for the best. And I'll toss it back into the crater.
I think we need to have more information. Lester, do your records say anything about some sort of temple of glowing marble somewhere? A legend? A story?
Hmm. Would I DM?
Roll me a history check.
Okay. 25.
You know that the Prime Seas does favor magically manifested this bluish tint marble that it uses on majority of its structures in the flying cities. There's also once a very long time ago, in the territories that are now known as United Calumet Party lands or UKP, there was a natural blue marble quarry, and from that quarry was made the Blue Temple of Mistra. But that was centuries ago, and last you recall, because of the local populace there becoming less and less religious by a generation, the temple has gone into essentially disrepair and maybe has even been converted into something else besides a temple. Something like this, however, just a random temple in the middle of an island in the middle of nowhere. No. Also, you do look at the drow and you do realize the drow would have known something if it was here. You knew that much about the lore of this island.
Drow isn't here with us?
The
Yes.
drow- Yeah, she is.
Ah. It's like I can't say as I have. I'm gonna turn towards her, towards the drow. It's like, you wouldn't happen to know what might have been here?
Kind of looks around in the night. I'm more surprised that we don't have any guests, honestly. I thought there was gonna be an entourage of people. We're on somebody's holy land, but there is no one answering.
As far as we know, they may already be here.
He looks around. No. They're not the sneaky kind, last I recall.
Then we have some sort of oddity going on here.
You
Did
didn't.
something happen to this place?
She walks towards the center and looks at the passageway that was covered and just starts to look at it. And then puts her hand close to the crevices that are still open. There's an airflow that leads below. Then puts her hand back and then goes for her bag and pulls out 5 shovels. And with the 5th shovel, she grabs it herself and starts to dig down.
Well, for once, we are digging for ruins. Grimcloak just sighs and goes. Well, goes to join our drow friend to help.
Ah.
And before we do that, they go back to first into Ishtar. By the way, thank you for the flights today. And then goes to dig.
How many of you are digging?
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I'll assume Kalias will also help.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Let's just say he rages and takes.
No, if he rages, didn't want much. He goes
I
up.
know,
He
I
just.
know.
he
It
just
was a
digs.
joke. It was a joke.
you dig a bit, and actually the soil after a good few minutes moves on its own from the pressure that you give into the ground, and an actual massive cavern that seems to go underground reveals itself. As soon as like the whole earth moves, you find a half destroyed black plate armor with a skeletal figure, or I guess its bones still in it, although covered in dirt.
Sorry, what was it? Black plate armor?
Yeah, black plate armor that has some sort of skeletal humanoid creature inside of it that was basically revealed as you um, dug down. And the drow just kind of hits the shovel head in the center of the plate, and then looks at you, Grimcloak, and the rest. Well, that looks something like a drow.
Something happened to him.
And then all of you can smell this very distinct smell of sulfur in the caverns below that opened up.
Sulfur.
That might be an issue.
I'm guessing. Well, it's a good thing we have another able body to assist us.
Will you make your way down into the massive opening in the ground?
Before that, it's time for some necromancy.
Oh?
Excuse me.
I think I know what's going on.
Mm-hmm. So the body is still mostly intact, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay then it's time to cast some animate dead.
We could also just talk to it first.
I was gonna
It's
say.
dead.
Yes,
Hey.
exactly. I
Yeah.
can talk to the dead.
Oh, do you want to talk to that first before do anything?
I think it's smarter to talk to it first before reviving it. Maybe it's hostile.
Well, it wouldn't be if I cast that, but
Well,
yeah.
Let's just.
Maybe it
I
is
mean, if you could
information.
talk to the dead, that would be vital information.
Yeah, I would cast Speak to the Dead.
Dead first, okay. So it's like. Go ahead, Lilium.
Okay.
So it's like.
Okay. So, just to remind Neil quickly, you. Oh, God, wait. Oh, no. Wait, give me. Hold on a second. Who knows? How many times you can actually?
You can only cast it on.
No, you
On,
can cast it on a body that has a mouth and is not undead. You cannot cast on the same corpse in the next 10 days. Oh, 5 questions. There you go. I'm sorry.
Yep,
Yeah,
five questions.
Yeah, the 5 questions.
So, basically, this creature covered in dirt and gravel twitches. Its skeletal mouth moves unhinged. And then it slowly turns its head in full plate towards you, Nicolum.
And she's kind of like looks around the group.
But Grimcloak just adjusts his map but doesn't say anything because, well, doing what you're supposed to do.
You're the one who brought it back. You get the honors.
Alright. I thought maybe if you guys had any questions you wanted answering.
But
The
since he
first
asked-
question should be yours, not ours.
I imagine the head just like fucking moves left and right to just see who's gonna ask him a question.
As she just looks at him and says, "Who are you?"
It looks down a bit at the broken plate, looks back at you. A dead man.
Right, it can obfuscate the truth. It only has to answer.
That's gonna be annoying.
Then, allow me.
Sure thing.
It appears an explosion has happened here. Is this how you perished?
No.
So died by something else. That is good. Look at Blaster if he wants to ask a question.
Pretty sure the next question I was gonna ask is probably what you're gonna be asked.
What killed him?
Which is then how did you?
Mhm.
It looks
Yeah, go.
it looks to the side a bit, seemingly its body twitching a bit. Looks back at you. Why? Sorcery. A slave turned into our bane.
Bane. A Bane. Then Grimcloak looks at our drow friend.
She is as lost as you. What do you mean by this?
Okay, well, Grimcloak will ask. Were you forced to kill your own people?
No. I died in defense of them.
So he's a respectable defender of his people. And the explosion's unrelated. But clear this place was attacked.
Yeah, the
We have
message.
one question. We have one question left, though.
Oh, I mean, it's an obvious question. Which is, and I'm going to message so he doesn't hear, say, just in case that's not the question that we're all thinking. I'm going to message Grimcloak. It says, "Who attacked? Defending from whom?"
He nods at Blaster.
Then I'll say that, ask that, say, defending from whom?
A slave turned into our bane. A kobold turned dragon. Damn.
Okay, and that's gone. And then he's gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
With the last whatever motion it did with its jaw, it stays there. But the skeleton is no longer responsive.
Interesting. What about that's became a dragon? That doesn't ring a bell for me, does it?
No, it does not.
Not even with a check. Hmm. Sorry, drawing blanks on that one.
kobold turned dragon. Huh? That is very ominous. But it doesn't truly answer a question. First of all, why would there be a kobold here, and why would it be in servitude of these people?
The drow
mean-
looks at you all. Maybe a slave? Drugs?
That sort of thing does happen a lot.
So,
Oh. That's definitely interesting development. Wish I knew how. Wish we had more questions and ask if they survived. Guess we'll just have to keep going deeper and find out. Any objections?
I see none. Oh. Hmm. Anything else? I mean, the guy's gone, and well, I'm not going to revive them clearly, or I'll use their body as a minion.
Mm-hmm. Well, that might be one thing. I'm gonna. Would be okay if I tried to do the looking back in time thing, Eric's?
I mean, only one way to find out.
I'm not gonna attempt it then. So what is that? A D100?
2D100s in this case.
Mhm.
God, don't roll well. Oh no! Have a little adventure. Hold up a second.
Not terrible, but it's not amazing either.
Hold up a second. I need to put on a new soundtrack. So, funnily enough, because how the magic is infused here, not only you, Lester, can see this, but everybody else can see this around, as time ticks back. The dust goes opposite of the wind. The marble chunks and pieces stitch themselves together in ominous clicking sounds. Those massive boulders and bricks phase through you as they get recollected into a singular chamber about 20 by 20 feet and about 30 feet high. Beneath above the chamber, a massive 50-60 feet tall mountain just rebuilt itself dust by dust. As you look at the center, you can see pieces, fragments of finely done architecture depicting Mistra are reassembled.
Hi, my name is.
And then eventually, you see a circle. You see a creature that resembles a lich standing above a group of several downed people on the floor. You see what seems to be an elf. You see what seems to be an half-elf. You see a dwarf, you see a human, and you see something that would resemble a fairy or a bee. Something similar both. Plus, can you roll me a history check? Same with Nihilum. Same with Grimcloak. And actually, Kalius
So
as
we're
well.
all seeing this.
Yeah, you all see this. I told you, because of the magic.
Yep.
Interesting.
Alright, what are we rolling?
History. Nice.
Not bad.
Yep.
I'm surprised.
Like everybody knows.
Mm-hmm.
Some of you, well, actually all of you, except for Kalius, recognize the half-elf lady. It was a sensation about a decade ago, a bit too long ago. What was her name? Julie de Silver? But also you recognize the human. You don't know how long it was in this point of time, but you know where he is now. Herald of Io, Dorian. Although in his human form, as many debated if he actually had a human form before, but from Blester, your sources, from Nihilum, from your people of intrigue, those who had the actual information and had the authority to know, you know that once upon a time Dorian was a human. That kind of fits the description. You do not know about the fairy that looks like a bee, or a bee that looks like a fairy. You do not know about the dwarf. Blester, however, you do know about the elf as well. He works somewhere. He goes by the name of Gen.
Oh,
You don't remember what he does or where he is. All that you know is that he is a very busy man, and he works as a double agent for the Iron Scales and the Platinum Seas.
yeah.
And if you're correct, Blester, by the way it looks, and if you remember your Platinum Seas lore quite well, you know that this lich creature is potentially the last lich that joined the Coven of Liches in the Platinum Seas. A hero long forgotten and presumed dead and never to be returned. One that has been deserving of lichdom but never received it. A man of many names that was remembered but now mainly remembered by his last and ultimate nickname, Ducklick.
Yep.
You also look where the passage that you revealed was, and you do see that down the trail, through the open holes, there is a creature. An amalgamation of small feet with an upper body of a mighty dragon. It seems to be crawling deeper into the earth. As you witness that visage, the magic subsides and everything breaks down into incorporeal ash, and the remains remain as before. Nothing more but remains.
Oh, that was something very well. That was an interesting amount of events that happened here. That's for sure.
The drow looks a bit with confusion, but nevertheless nods with agreement.
It did have some very recent people of note here. More specifically, the two. The elf and the lich.
Mhm.
The drow thinks with curiosity. Well, I don't know who's gonna go below, but I'm not going first. I'm here to find you some bugs, not to get myself killed.
That is a fair. That is a fair thing. And Kalis is gonna go down.
Nier was about to ask if the bugs are underground and near sulfur.
We're not
Alas, if
looking
this...
for the actual bugs. The bugs are supposed to lead us.
I know, but, you know, anything to avoid the sulfur.
So, who's gonna descend downwards?
Peleus is going first. I guess I'll go second.
I'll go third.
YOLO.
Leroy.
Leroy Jenkins.
Oh my god, he just went in.
That's
I guess
even
I'll
better.
follow it.
That's even better because Blester you just had a fucking like, oh god, he went in.
And then I followed right after.
Or that. Anyway,
Guess we're all following him and if following behind him.
Yep.
It's a good thing nobody knows Fireball at this party.
I don't care how big the room is. I wild magic rage.
ah. Okay. Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay. So. I have a question. Do you want to call it here or do you want to continue?
I don't know how long my power is going to last, so.
So maybe we should.
Probably safer.
Probably safer.
Just so you know, I will not be here next. Oh wait, no. I may have to leave early next week.
I
Okay.
see.
So, not be here, but leave early.
So with that, we can call it. Anything you want to say before I'm shutting this recording down?
We're finally digging holes in this archaeology
Yeah,
campaign.
diggy
I'm very
holes.
happy.
Finally, archaeological.
Dig.
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 dig, dig.
Here we go.
Dig,
Perfect gift for it.
Dig.
Diggy diggy hole.
There you go. It's so